you are.
Ed, go ahead and get us started there, Mr. Cagle.
You sure?
Get me started, just bring it to me.
Y'all ready to go?
We're ready.
All right. Well, we're here today to have a press conference. We're going to introduce Cliff Walker as our new girls soccer head coach and also business teacher here at Kenny County High School. We're thankful for him and his willingness to be here to fulfill that position. We're going to turn it over now to our director of schools, Mr. Freddie Curtis, and he has a prepared statement that he wants to present. Mr. Curtis.
We appreciate that, Athletic Director Cagle, and appreciate the members of the media and our coaching staffs that are here this afternoon. Kenny County Schools is pleased to announce Mr. Cliff Walker as Microsoft Office Retail Operations and Personal Finance teacher at Kenny County High School. More than that, as our head soccer coach, girls soccer coach, beginning with the 2019-2020 high school season. And Mr. Walker was hired in late December of 2018 to replace Mr. Renda Walker, a relation, as the Microsoft Office Retail Operations and Personal Finance teacher. He has since that point in December acclimated himself at Kenny County High School, beginning with his teaching duties during the spring 2019 semester, and will begin his head soccer coaching duties immediately. Mr. Walker was born in North Carolina, grew up in a member of the military family. After being introduced to soccer while living in Germany, I don't know a lot of people can say that, but learned about soccer in Germany. Mr. Walker started playing soccer in high school. It became his primary sport while he was in college.
Hello, David. Please come to the office.
Where he played mostly with foreign exchange students. Then he later played in a Hispanic soccer league in Nashville, where he played primarily defense. And he is married, having children. He's been coaching his children in the youth soccer league. They have 3 children. And he's played recreational soccer and coached recreational soccer and travel soccer for 9 years. He holds a national diploma from the National Soccer Coaches Association of America. And his strong desire is to allow players to help players grow in their knowledge and skill of the game while here in Cannon County. Mr. Nichols presented his name to me, and I approved that. And so we look forward to Mr. Walker's teaching in the classroom, bringing his experiences from the business world to Cannon County High School, but also demonstrating his depth of knowledge of soccer to assist our student athletes and utilizing his coaching abilities to take our Cannon County High School girls soccer program to the next level. And as every time I speak at just about any venue, whether it's a press conference like this or also, I think these hires represent our mission. And our mission is to prepare all of our students for their future. His mission is to aid those soccer players in going for their future and what their future is beyond. We signed our first soccer player in several years. Our boys soccer player was signed to Cumberland University just a few weeks ago. We want to see more of that. But his job is to prepare those girls for their future, and it's also to continue our vision. And our vision in Cannon County Schools to be engaged in excellence every day. And not only do I expect that in the classroom, but I also expect that on the athletic field. And we would like to say our appreciation to Mr. Walker for coming our way.
I'd like to say my appreciation to Mr. Curtis as well as Mr. Nichols and as well as my AD here, Coach Cagle, and the offering to be able to come here and be a part of not just the academics but also the athletics here at Cannon County High School. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here, a part of this school, and as I had iterated in what Mr. Curtis said, I do see an opportunity for a step up, if you will, in the world of soccer here at Cannon County, and I hope to be a part of that. I certainly endeavor to instill in the students as well as any athletes that I encounter, not just how you play on the field, but also how you live your life, principles of life, a winning attitude, no matter what the score shows on the scoreboard. So I hope to add the technical and tactical aspects of the game and bring it to the girls with their commitment, with my commitment. I think we'll just see measured success as we go on, and hopefully with 7 seniors this season coming back, maybe actually turn some heads this season. We're cautiously optimistic about that, and just excited to be a part here in Canyon County.
Mr. Nichols?
Like I said earlier, we're just really excited about Mr. Walker being here and his experience in the field of marketing and sales. We'll add a new dimension to our department in our career technical department in his business classes. Also, his experience on the soccer field will be a great asset for our girls team as we go through the 19-20 school year.
Okay.
I second that what Mr. Nichols said about his experience. It speaks for itself. His credentials speak for itself, and his passion for the game and his knowledge is going to be very beneficial for those girls. And I think that, you know, with that combination, he is going to bring something to that soccer program that, you know, to actually that will lay a foundation and help those girls grow and prepare them to be successful right away. He has great passion for the game. He wants to make the kids better, and that's what it's all about. And I just appreciate him for his willingness and looking forward to working with him.
Okay, thank you, Coach Cagle. Questions from the media?
As you took this job on, of course, last year, over the past previous years, you're a coach now that has a lot of coaching experience with this girls soccer. A lot of youth coming into this year with the 7 seniors. A lot of inexperience as well because there's no feeder program. How do you combat those type of challenges?
That's a very good question. And there's some challenges that we may not fully be able to tackle in 1 year, right? This may be a several-year process. I know talking to Coach Daniel about the football team and his challenges, I face some of the same challenges he has in terms of numbers, experience, and that sort of thing. However, this summer we're going to be doing workouts three days a week, as well as incorporating a 3v3 league as well that's going to be open to the boys and girls to play on because the boys need to work as well. I've worked with them some this spring, kind of learning the culture, helping out Coach Locker with the boys. But just getting into the aspect of like the basketball team has here, a full year round of workout. Doesn't mean they have to spend an hour a day with the ball, but it means that they're going to look at it as something that they invest in themselves and invest in their teammates by making it a priority. And so that's a culture change that needs to come. I hope to do that in a nice way and usher that in a way that the girls can take hold of that. So definitely going to be a lot of some video sessions and some other things to prepare them tactically because they don't know where to be, at least from what I've seen, but on the field at times and what to do. But we'll address those things and do it in a way that's, we'll lift them up as we go along.
And kind of piggybacking off that just a little bit, you've been here long enough to get kind of familiar with some of the programs, girls and boys, I'm sure, around the area. Where would you put Cannon County in relation to some of the surrounding programs? Do you feel like there's ground that needs to be made up? And certainly some of the things you're talking about, I'm sure you're attacking in that regard to catch the program up. But how far away do you feel like this program is from being kind of elite, or at least up to the standard of the programs nearby?
Well, when you throw out a word like elite, that carries a lot of weight in the world of soccer for me. So I won't even say I won't even go there. But I'll say in terms of just being competitive, that's really what I want to see. My initial goal is to win district. If we can win district, we've got 5 teams in our district. We don't play DeKalb in our district. They're usually a little better than we are, and we're not going to go play the teams that typically win 10 or 12 games every year this season. We may do that down the road, but my goal was to be competitive in our district, to play teams that I felt like we would be competitive in, and I think it's a highly ambitious goal with only 2 wins and 2 ties last season to go to 8 wins in our district. I think it's very, very competitive in some regards. But we have some good things as far as just the senior leadership that we have coming back. And these girls do seem committed to me. I just can't speak a lot to it because I haven't had enough time with them on the pitch. But really look forward to that opportunity to take us to a new level. If that new level is 5 wins instead of 2 wins, we'll take it. But certainly raising the bar, that's the goal.
You have an impressive background and you played in Germany. I kind of want to go back to that background a little bit there, what got you interested, and maybe compare and contrast what you've seen soccer globally into what you see once you come to an area like Tennessee, where the sport still is kind of new. I mean, we're getting more acclimated to it, but it's still somewhat of a new sport.
Well, the sport in the United States is still secondary, right? In this nation, it's secondary to football. Probably still considered secondary to basketball for sure, and then probably even still baseball. I would maybe put it slightly ahead of hockey, but so being a number 4 sport in a country like ours, and you go, and I've been to 15 other countries besides the United States. So I've been in a lot of countries, some third world, where they're playing barefooted in the street, and all over. So my exposure to it is we just don't get it yet. That may be being real direct, but
yeah.
We don't get it yet. That's okay. We get it where we are. Obviously, the women's national team gets it, and from a women's perspective, there seems to be a better groundswell of participation. And I think a lot of that has to do with the NCAA level, where you've got girls teams and you don't have boys teams, and a lot of different collegiate levels. So I think until that gets balanced out a little bit, I think on the boys' side we're going to be a little behind the curve. But certainly we've had success at the women's level, at the highest level. I just think as a culture in our society, we don't pack out the stands for soccer games, but we do for football. So once I think the pendulum's turning that direction, but to say how far we're going to be in a short amount of time, I think it's still another decade away before we're really becoming a primary sport in the United States.
And Tom, I'll be part of that too, is that it's still a relatively new sport in Cannon County.
Mm-hmm.
However, we did have 4 years ago, we had a young lady, Olivia Walker, who went on to the collegiate level at Tennessee Wesleyan. So evidently a fairly new sport, but having individuals and competitors that will go on to the collegiate level, and every press conference we've done, and all the signings we've done here in Cannon County in this past semester, we can say that we want to be competitive, and we want to make sure that we prepare those young athletes so they can have that future at the collegiate level.
Go back to the feeder program again. How willing are you to institute or try to institute maybe a middle grade program here at Cannon County High School? I'm sure you feel that it's an important type of thing to have.
Well, absolutely. 15 miles down the road to Murfreesboro, we've got a league there that is pretty well established and large in scope. But having something here local, I think, is huge. I'm sort of the new guy, so I'm sort of just on the ship as we're sailing at this point. To say that I would go in and try and knock the cows over and try to start something brand new that's probably a little early for me. But to say would I like to see something? Absolutely. It's kind of the vision of that 3v3 league. It's going to be pretty low key this summer,
Right.
Be kind of a starter. But Coach Lockhart and I have talked about this at length, and he's probably got his hands more around that side of it than I do. I am going to support that, and I'm willing to, like I did with the boys team, is just assist in whatever level I can, with as much time as is allowed for me. So definitely, I do think if we had a 7th and 8th grade team that was here, even if it was all the grammar schools combining to form one team, and even have cuts so that you would have one primary team that we really put emphasis on to bring them up. I think that would send a message that, hey, we're serious about soccer, because we make cuts in travel basketball, we make cuts in travel baseball. You want to have that initial groundswell of people that want to play, and then have the qualified help to make it happen. So I'd love to see it happen, and I'm willing to willing to put some effort into it myself.
Coming from the business sector, kind of want to go into your mindset about what made you decide to come over to the educational realm. You're obviously very passionate about the sport. I know that had a lot to do with it, but talk about that transition, how that's worked out for you, and why you wanted to make that transition.
Well, that kind of goes deeper, a lot deeper level. So, I mean, soccer is big for me, but kids are, I'm passionate about kids. I'm passionate about kids doing well
Right.
in life. And so, you know, for me, it was a year-long process of prayer and just time, you know, discussion with my wife and knowing the initial financial cut it was going to incur on us. Being successful in sales, you don't just want to jump off the boat into the deep end and that sort of thing sometimes. But God helped orchestrate some things in our lives for me to make this move. And it has been trying in certain ways in terms of just on the home front, but I think we've overcome those things. And in terms of the transition into, I never saw myself teaching business. I actually looked at history or economics because it's kind of been my wheelhouse in the
Right.
past. And you always think of the history teacher, you know, being a coach, right? You know, it's kind of what I've always seen, thought. But it's worked out well in the business side. So that's been neat because I've been able to just, like in my my personal finances class, not just show them how to do a resume and a thank you letter, but actually how to shake a person's hand when they come in for an interview and things. So just trying to incorporate life skills into what I'm doing to help the kids. I'm hopefully not naive in believing that I'll make a difference with kids as they're maturing and becoming young adults.
Good. I'll throw one more thing out there. I know you've been here a relatively short time, but your impressions of Cannon County, the system here, the support you've gotten in your time here, what's that been like so far?
Well, I'm with a couple of new faces as well in their positions, right? And I think the county's made some good moves with that. Mr. Nichols, and I'm not saying this because he's sitting here, I would say it to anyone, but I believe he's the right man for the job. I'm very thankful to God that I have him as opposed to some other principals that I've heard stories about. So very thankful for his support, for Mr. Curtis as well. And the coaches have made me feel very welcome. Coach Daniel and the others, they've like answered my knuckleheaded questions that I've come out with. As far as, you know, I get it. It's, you know, the district's smaller and all that sort of thing, but the people are fabulous to be with. And, you know, I can sit here for hours talking about how nice it's been to be around such great, fine people. And that's really what life's about anyway. So.
Final thing, and you talk about wanting to get the program to a competitive level. If you're talking to people in the community, and again, a sport that it's growing and growing slowly, but it is growing. If you wanted to say something to the folks out in the community about not just the direction of the program, but what this sport offers to the kids, to the community, what would you say to those folks?
Well, to the parents that have younger children, I would say to them that soccer is one of the healthiest sports their children can play, especially when they're young. Most parents want their children to be active and healthy. I think that's our goal for anybody that's a parent has a child. Soccer is a great, and if your goal is to be a basketball or football player, it teaches and incorporates great stamina, body agility, just overall core strength that translates well to other sports. So even if they don't stay with soccer, obviously us coaches want to grab the best athletes and keep them ours, but you know, kids do transition to other sports. So I would say to a parent in Woodbury or in the surrounding community that, you know, if you've got kids that want to be active, let them try out, you know, even if they have to for now, travel to Murfreesboro. They've got a great league. I've taught in it there, coached in it there. In terms of just staying active and moving up through 7th, 8th, 9th grade, again, for girls, it's a fall sport. Boys, it's a spring sport. So if you're not a baseball player, but you're a football player, it might be a good option for them to keep themselves in shape. We had some football players on the team, who I've talked to Coach about. They're beasts out there, and they'll be great. They only did things that would help them. The 20, 30, 40-yard sprints that you do in soccer is what you do in football. So it translates well, and that's what I would tell parents, is that soccer translates well to other sports, obviously, and to soccer itself.
Any additional statements, gentlemen? Yes. Toby? I'd like to thank DTC and also Cannon Info for coming today, as well as the Cannon Courier, WBRY, all the press that we've received. We appreciate that very much. And I want to say, too, that Coach Walker has met with the players numerous times this semester, meeting with parents and helping and trying to build a program. And when you build a program, it's just like it's a detailed operation over a period of time. And it's a work in, what I like to call work in progress. And we're so appreciative of having someone of Mr. Walker's knowledge of the game consider us here in Cannon County. And like I said in other sports, look out, district, here we come.